was a Santa Claus.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and we're counting down our picks for the top 10 wrestlers with failed acting careers. For this list, we'll be using the likes of The Rock, Dave Batista and John Cena as our Hollywood benchmarks, and comparing other big names in the squared circle to those who couldn't quite match their level. Who do you think should have stayed in the ring? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. Rob Van Dam. To the wrestling world, authenticity is king. Over the years, superstars have talked about how the best characters are just themselves turned up to 11, but many fans agree that with Rob Van Dam, what you see is what you get. The laid-back martial artist has been known for the odd slip-up in the wrestling world, but his acting career shares a couple of odd choices also. Whose idea was it to be in Three-Headed Shark? Or how about doing a movie with Steven Seagal? But the two never actually get to do martial arts together. The tell-all sign came in 2010, when RVD starred alongside Dave Batista in The Wrong Side of Town. Batista went on to become an Avenger, and Van Dam, well, Van Dam seems like he's busy. Each to their own, Rob. Number 9. Kane. Nothing signifies a failed acting career more than retiring that career completely. One of the first big projects of WWE Studios was See No Evil, their foray into the world of horror as the WWE attempted to put Kane alongside the likes of Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. With his own weapon, screaming victims and a handful of convincing jump scares, the stage was set to see if WWE could not just provide the stars, but their own script and production too. But one part of the movie making process you can't forget is promotion, which unfortunately WWE maybe did a little too much of. With See No Evil hitting theatres on May 19th, Kane's WWE persona began to be obsessed by the date, going into a blind rage and chokeslamming anyone who mentioned it. While they later had Kane explain the links to its backstory, many saw this as forced marketing, and the film failed to make waves outside of WWE circles. Kane eventually stepped away from the ring, not for the screen, but for the podium, becoming the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. So does that mean we can get President Cena next? Number 8. Kevin Nash. Out of anyone on our list, the man known as Big Daddy Cool definitely has the strangest portfolio, and for that, you've got to give him credit. Kevin Nash broke into the acting world with the role of masked villain Super Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. A wise move knowing wrestling fans' cult love of comic books and how big comic book culture is today. You rake in those residual checks, Kev. But did anyone else see it coming when Nash found himself stripping off as one of the ensemble in Magic Mike at the ripe old age of 53? To his credit, Nash looks better than any 53-year-old I know, especially as he did it again at 56 for Magic Mike XXL. Nash still finds himself in cameo roles here and there, sporting an impressive Russian accent as Francis in John Wick.
Hello, Francis.
Mr. Big,
Я тебе похудел.
20 килограммов.
Да, peachy lad.
But despite having Channing Tatum in his phone book, has yet to find his huge starring role. If he still looks that good at 63, I'm not counting him out just yet. Number 7. Triple H. Okay, this one feels unfair. Many were surprised when Triple H made his acting debut in Blade Trinity, alongside A-listers like Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes. The game's appearance as Jarko Grimwood made for a lasting first impression, but it wasn't until 2011 did Tripp step back on set, and to say the vibe was different is an understatement. Now under the wing of WWE Studios, the Chaperone gave the game a much more family-friendly swing at the acting business, especially in contrast to the colourful language we heard in Blade 3. With WWE's audience transitioning away from the PG era and streaming not the juggernaut it is today, seeing the multi-time skull-wearing champion now effectively babysitting on screen was somewhat of a left turn. Though the reason this feels unfair to mention is because of Triple H's biggest priority, fatherhood of another kind. Because during this time, Triple H found himself taking on his greatest challenge to date in running WWE developmental brand NXT. His fathering the brand gave us the likes of Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Big E, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Charlotte and more, making an impact on the wrestling industry that will be felt around the world for decades. So yeah, as far as overall contributions are concerned, failed careers may definitely be a stretch. Number 6. Kurt Angle. Seeing an actor get typecast is nothing new, whether it's seeing Aubrey Plaza play a creepy weirdo or Emma Roberts playing a spoiled brat. seeing somebody boxed into a character never truly turns heads at the box office. But wrestling fans have noticed a pattern as the Olympic hero Kurt Angle has gone on a run of losing Hollywood fights. Kurt surprised many when he appeared in 2011's Warrior alongside Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton, playing the Great Cobra, a Russian MMA fighter who clashes with Edgerton's character Brendan inside of the octagon. Knowing Angle's amateur background and stacked physique, seeing him in a physical role wasn't the biggest surprise in the world. But unfortunately it was just the beginning for Kurt as he looks for a fictional win. Despite this sizable role in Warrior, Angle found himself taking L's in Pain and Gain, where former rival The Rock took him apart with a barbell plate, as well as 2013's Wrestlers vs Zombies, where, you guessed it, Kurt ends up with red on him. Since then, Kurt has dipped in and out of projects without anything consistent to his name. Sorry Kurt, I guess you can't win them all. Number 5. Ric Flair. Wrestling has always been described as the perfect blend of acting and athletics, but the term acting has never been stretched as thinly as when it's applied to Ric Flair.
I'm gonna style and profile off into the sunset. Woo!
The 16-time world champion has made an incredible extracurricular contribution by repeatedly landing the role of none other than Ric Flair. The Nature Boy makes a cameo as himself in a 1996 episode of Baywatch, voiced himself in a cameo on The Cleveland Show, and since 2017, Flair has taken up the lucrative side hustle of playing Yes himself in hip-hop music videos, most notably alongside 21 Savage for his hit Ric Flair Drip. Though I'm sure he was paid handsomely, Flair finds himself on this list because you don't win any Oscars for playing yourself. Sorry, Nate. Number 4. Jesse Ventura. With arguably the strongest acting resume of anyone on our list, it's truly mind-boggling how Jesse Ventura isn't a certified A-lister now. After all, who else gets to say they made their acting debut alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator? 1987 proved a great year for Ventura, following his buddy Arnie to give him a one-on-one as he played Captain Freedom in The Running Man. And with other credits to his name like The Demolition Man and Batman and Robin, why is it we're not seeing Jesse Ventura on billboards and late-night TV today? Or perhaps it's his own doing, as it seems the man formerly known as The Body just can't sit still. With 5 movies under his belt, he became the mayor of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, which kick-started his political career that lasted over a decade. Ventura has since written books, investigated conspiracy theories, and started a podcast, keeping his acting career firmly dormant since 2014. Where'd you go, Jesse? Number 3. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Known to many as the embodiment of the 90s, Stone Cold Steve Austin is easily one of pop culture's greatest badasses of all time. And knowing his shared history with The Rock, it's truly a shocker this one didn't prove to be more of a hit. Despite being one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time, Stone Cold made his mark in the acting world as the racist bully Guard Dunham in 2005's The Longest Yard, with his incredibly tense scene shared with rapper Nelly, making wrestling fans hopeful to see the Rattlesnake follow in The Rock's footsteps.
Oops.
Sorry about that. You mind fetching these books for me, boy?
And if rubbing shoulders with Adam Sandler and Chris Rock wasn't enough, Austin hit the IMDb jackpot in 2010 with his role as antagonist Dan Payne in The Expendables. Surely any actor looking to become Hollywood's next great action star would kill to rub shoulders with Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Jet Li and more, right? But unfortunately it's when Austin works solo does the money stop rolling in, as 8 of his last 10 feature films have gone direct to video. Though with the success of Steve's podcast and his own IPA, somehow I don't think Stone Cold minds having to skip the Oscars. We're just glad you're happy, Steve. Number 2. Goldberg. If there's anything an actor doesn't want to be known for, it's the strong and silent type. For 173 weeks of WCW television, Bill Goldberg would walk to the ring, spear, jackhammer, 3 count, and walk right back to the locker room. So why did we think this man would suddenly start giving us Braveheart? When the likes of Batista or John Cena first broke into the acting world, they were initially shoehorned in as the big angry man. This didn't last long, as their natural comedic timing and acting chops expanded the kind of offers they got. Goldberg, however, wasn't so lucky. He played Big Angry Santa in Santa's Sleigh, a big angry inmate in The Longest Yard, and in Half Past Dead 2 he plays a big angry inmate again. Weird. And while he had an enjoyable romp playing himself in the 2000 wrestling comedy Ready to Rumble, the storyline that came from it signaled the beginning of the end of WCW's wrestling dominance, as it featured Scream's David Arquette becoming the legitimate WCW champion. So yeah, not exactly the lasting memory you wanted, eh Bill? Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified about occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Hulk Hogan. When Dwayne Johnson was just a twinkle in his father's eye, Hulk Hogan was universally known as wrestling's biggest star. If anyone was going to make it a Hollywood, it would be Hollywood Hulk Hogan. After a memorable outing in Rocky III as Thunder Lips, a wrestling champion who takes on Rocky in an exhibition bout, the Hulkster was well on his way to becoming wrestling's first breakout star.
Listen, after the match, how about if we get a Polaroid together, okay?
You're in trouble, man. I'm gonna break him in half like this.
But despite millions of Hulkamaniacs and being a part of 1982's biggest blockbuster, Hogan still had a long way down to fall. After schlocky performances in B-movies like Mr. Nanny and Suburban Commando, Hogan's acting career wasn't exactly on the best foot. But embarrassing testimonies in his 2012 Gawker lawsuit, as well as the leaking of his racist remarks in 2015, left Hogan's acting career firmly down for the 3 count. At 68 years old, Hogan should be competing with your Michael Caine's or Morgan Freeman's for the part of grandfather or retiring detective. But instead, Hogan's nowhere near the red carpet. And maybe that's for the best. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.